Venezuelan electoral authorities and opponents of Nicolas Maduro's ruling socialists have clashed over turnout figures in Sunday's vote for an assembly to write a new constitution and give the party greater powers. The National Electoral Council said more than 8 million people had voted on one of the deadliest days since massive protests started in early April in Venezuela, but the figure was immediately disputed by the opposition, which said fewer than half that number had taken part. Many voters decided against taking part in an election the opposition said would turn the country into a full-fledged dictatorship. The European Union has condemned the excessive and disproportionate use of force by security forces, and said it had serious doubts whether the election could be recognized. Nicolas Maduro: will Venezuela's president drag his people to the edge? Observer. Profile. Read more. Venezuela has democratically elected and legitimate institutions whose role is to work together and to find a negotiated solution to the current crisis. A constituent assembly, elected under doubtful and often violent circumstances, cannot be part of the solution, the bloc's Foreign Policy Service said. The U.S. vowed to take strong and swift actions against Venezuelan officials, including the 545 participants in the Constitutional Assembly, many of them low-ranking party members. The U.S. did not say whether it would sanction Venezuelan oil imports, a measure with the potential to destabilize Maduro's government and deepen the country's humanitarian crisis. The opposition leader, Enrique Capriles, said as many as 14 had died in protests on Sunday as voting was underway, and the prosecutor's office confirmed at least 6 people had been killed by gunfire, including a National Guardsman. 7 police officers were also wounded in an explosion in the opposition stronghold neighborhood of Altamira. Capriles, the governor of the central state of Miranda, urged Venezuelans to continue protests on Monday. Show hide at the heart of the crisis is a cratering economy and acute shortages of medicine and food, coupled with rising anger at a soaring crime rate and an increasingly authoritarian government. The president, Nicolas Maduro, won a general election in 2013 on a platform of continuing his predecessor Hugo Chávez's socialist policies of using the country's oil riches to reduce inequality and lift people out of poverty, but falling oil prices have forced the government to curtail social programs. Opposition activists have been staging unrelenting protests against the government. Was this helpful? Thank you for your feedback. Turnout was 41.53%, or 8,089,320 people. The Electoral Council President, Tibise Lucena, announced just before midnight.